All right, I'm glad to be back. I'm Kevin Price, back in the saddle. I should have had the producer, Sigmund, put in back in the saddle again. It's been an entire week, and it feels actually a little weird. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was doing interviews the entire time I was gone, probably about 2 or 3 times more interviews than I do in a single week here on the show. It sure felt like that. Had a great time at Dreamforce 2012 in San Francisco, California. But it's weird to be back in the studio, but it's a kind of a good sort of weird. So I'm delighted to be here talking to you about you and your business, plus so much going on in the political front, and delighted to have as my guest. She's a recent contributor over at U.S. Daily Review. Her name is Kay Bransford. Is that correct? Did I get that right?
Yes, you got that right.
Hey, not bad for a Monday or Tuesday, whatever day it is. Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about what's going on out there. You got a great article that you you published about a week or so ago on the 19th on the high cost of disorganization, plus a brand new article that's up today. But let's talk a little bit about the cost of disorganization.
Okay, yes. What I really wanted to focus on was I don't think people realize how much money is lost in the transition between, family members. I happened to step in to help my parents and realized how many bank accounts they have, how much life insurance. And I came across a fact that said $32.9 billion is sitting with state treasurers today from life insurance policies and banking accounts that people just don't even know is out there because our lives are a little bit overwhelming and there's so much information that money's just kind of falling off the table and family members don't know about it when there's a crisis that occurs.
Yeah, and, we hear stories about this like probably once a year. There's probably a press release sent out by the various state, controllers who are looking over their buckets of money, for example. That's a big issue, is that a lot of people are owed money by their states and they don't realize it.
Yes. And it was funny because this came up and I talked to my sister about it, and we did a search on my dad's name just to see, my parents are still living, but what was out there. And we found an account of my grandfather's that his children didn't even know was out there. So we found one of his bank accounts in that missingmoney.org website.
Yeah, that's interesting. That is interesting. And so how much money did you estimate that would cost?
How much does it cost? It's free.
No. I mean, how much are we losing in money by not taking advantage of this?
Oh, it's currently, I guess in March, they reported it's $32.9 billion that state treasurers are holding.
Okay.
That is unclaimed money.
Okay. And again, $32+ billion. That's an extraordinary amount of money. And this is among all 50 states?
Yes, it is.
Wow, that's incredible. What made you think about looking into this?
Well, my parents both seemed to, dementia hit them at a similar point in their lives, and they had so many things that I needed to step in and help with, and it was overwhelming because in their case they didn't remember, where's the bank account, where's our retirement account, and I have 2 kids and a husband, so just managing it for myself was overwhelming, but then I stepped in and had to try to get a hold of all their accounts. So I created a book that managed all their information, and that I had so many friends ask me about the book and asked me to do one for them. I just turned it into a business and launched Memory Bank.
Yeah, I love that. And what kind of response are you getting from it?
It's been fantastic. I've been more surprised. I initially thought about it for people that are caring for parents that have dementia, but most of my clients are baby boomers that have already gone through this with their parents and said, I am never going to do to my kids and leave them with the mess that my parents left me with. So they buy the book and they put all their information in it and they give copies to their kids so they know where everything is and they have all the information they need to access all their accounts if they should ever need to step in and help.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I want to encourage people to get more information about this. So what's your website for people to check it out?
It is www.memorybank, MEMORY, memorybank, BANC.com.
Yeah, I like that. Memorybank.com. And how is it delivered? How do you deliver it to potential clients, or to clients, rather?
Yep, so it comes as a book. So when people order it, they get a binder that self-guides them through all this information collection. And it also comes with a thumb drive, a PDF. Most people start and they will fill it out like 10 to 15 minutes at a time, fill out the book, and then realize that this information changes every year. You get new accounts or your values change. And a lot of people in year 2 typically move it to the PDF because they realize how many changes are happening within all of their financial accounts or their online accounts.
Hmm. Let me ask you, are you retailing this? Are you selling it to wholesalers? Or are you doing it entirely online?
Right now, I do it entirely online. I will start going through the wholesale market to gift shops and book publishers. I have this is my first year, so most of my business have come directly through the website.
Okay, I think it's fantastic. The number of baby boomers out there are, roughly 35% of the population, the last I've read, and that's 50 and older. And then there's a huge number of silent generation that are still around, and there's still some even of the greatest generation still around. And so it's just, you've got a huge market, probably close to 45% of the population that may be thinking in terms they want to do better for their kids than what their parents did for them.
Yes, and I mean that's why I launched it. I really wanted this to be something that everyone would get organized and do it. So I hope they'll take advantage of it.
Yeah. By the way, you also have an article, a brand new article posted today at usdailyreview.com. Tell us about that real quick.
Yes, what I wanted to do is give people some of the basic information they really should have. Some people they'll just do their online accounts or tell someone, here's where my online accounts are, but it goes much beyond that. I mean, it's your medical records. Does someone know your medical history? So I have an article that talks about what are the key pieces of information you need to have and make sure that your loved ones know where it is. Okay,
very, very cool. And, and people are like, oh my God, this is like the longest, most horrific conversation you could possibly have. Not really. If it's organized, you could probably have it in a very short period of time and say, all the instructions are here. Please take a few minutes to read the instructions, and then you can be done with it.
Yes, absolutely. I don't want it to be a bad thing. It should be a good thing. We all think we're organized, but then you realize that my organization system doesn't really make sense to my husband. So I give everyone kind of a very simple format to have a universal organization system that you can share with anyone.
Yeah, that is always helpful. My organization system is so horrific. I think you'd have to bring in several organization scientists, if they exist, to come and do forensic work to figure out what the heck was this guy trying to leave behind.
I don't think you're the only one out there with that problem.
No, I don't think so. And I would think it's probably pretty pervasive, in fact, among baby boomers. Kind of a wild bunch. I'm on the young end of the baby boomers, but a baby boomer nonetheless. And it's just it's interesting. I think it's fantastic. MemoryBank.com. Make sure also you check out her article over there at usdailyreview.com and give that website. Oh, I just did. MemoryBank.com. Again, it's almost exactly like it sounds, but you want to make sure you spell bank, BANC.com. MemoryBank.com. And again, Kate Bransford, thanks so much for being with us.
Oh, you're welcome. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, you bet. All right. When we come back, we're going to have much, much more for you. I do want to remind you, of course, the best content here, in fact, an excellent article there for you right there by Kay, is over there at our sister news website, usdailyreview.com. Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. We're having a conversation with C.Candace Salima. She's a senior contributor over at usdailyreview.com. She does a fabulous job of keeping our readers informed. And she has a neat new article there about the statute of responsibility, as she refers to it. And I wanted to spend a little time talking to her about that, plus some other things happening in the political front. Really cool article. Kind of give the audience an overview real quickly about it. And welcome, yeah.
Thanks, Kevin, for having me on. I had the opportunity a couple of weeks ago to visit with Gary Lee Price, who is a world-renowned sculptor. He's literally got work all over the world. But this time, he actually got contacted by people who representing Viktor Frankl, who is the author of Man's Search for Happiness. And they contracted with him to come up with a statue that would be called the Statue of Responsibility, that would be kind of a bookend to the Statue of Liberty. But the reason that Viktor Frankl wanted them to do that, I mean, he has a quote, which is just, I put in the article because it is so stunning. Freedom is not the last word. Freedom is only part of the story and half the truth. The positive aspect of freedom is responsibleness. Now, we look at America today, and we look at the condition of the world, and we have largely entitled societies that feel like the world owes them a living. And this is why this statue spoke so strongly to me. And I was so blessed that just a university about 5 minutes away from me is where Gary Price is building this 15-foot statue. So I took my cameras and headed straight down there. And I'm doing a show on him as well for Turning the Tide. But I was so impacted by the message of they want the world to literally recognize that it is a gift to us and that we have a responsibility not only to take care of it, but of each other, to get along. Yeah. To further the cause of humanity, and I was blown away by it, Kevin.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about it. So, yeah, and by the way, Man's Search for Meaning, if you haven't read it, you need to. It really should be required reading. I think even in high school, it's not an easy, light read, and it's pretty troubling when you think of the context which that book was written, drawing from years of experience as a victim of the Holocaust. And in fact, among the worst victims of the Holocaust, he's one of the few that actually survived the being a lab rat, if you will, for the Russians. He was essentially, the subject of so-called scientific experimentation by the Germans, rather, by the Nazis. It's incredible that he lived through it, and you understand how he lived through it by reading his book, Man's Search for Meaning. And one of the things I've always said is that liberty is a two-sided coin, and one of the sides is liberty, on the other side is responsibility. And if you don't have the other side, you have anarchy, and you have a libertine culture, which I'm afraid America's evolving into rather quickly.
Yes, I fear that as well, Kevin. It is, it's something about how the core values that established America, they need to be revisited. And throughout our history, they have been, and it appears now that they have to be revisited again. We are looking at people who, like I said earlier, believe the government owes them a living. We are looking at people who are calling for anarchy, and Kevin, I have to say, anyone calling for an anarchy has no true understanding of what that is. I'm saying that right up front.
Yeah.
We have other people who are just trying to get America back on track, and you and I have both said ad nauseum, I don't know how many times we've said it, Kevin, that November 6th is a choice, yes, between two ideologies, but it is a historic choice because it's a choice of whether we stand as a republic or whether we go into a socialist democracy headed into communism. Yeah, America is this pot of boiling ideologies that are conflicting with each other so incredibly that America is going to be damaged if we don't figure it out pretty quick.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I think I don't think we're that big of a leap from totalitarianism. I think when I look at Barack Obama and how unilaterally he functions and how he operates in a way that's so aloof, and this is a guy who still has to face re-election. What is Barack Obama going to be like when he doesn't have to face re-election?
Well, that's the scary part, and I don't know why everybody else isn't as worried about that as you and I, Kevin.
Yeah.
We're looking at a man, if he wins, has flat stated he's going to have a lot more latitude.
Yeah.
Now, Barack Obama with latitude, considering what he's done without it?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. The things I can do once I'm reelected and don't have to worry about facing reelection because, by then we'll get rid of, electing presidents anyway. Naive Americans are sitting there thinking, oh, he's talking about term limits. I'm not sure if that's the case, Candace.
I don't know. I mean, we laugh about it, but we laugh because it's actually a fear. We look at the world and we see men do this all the time. It happened in Venezuela. It's happening on our, in the just south of us.
Yeah.
And we're like, not in America. That can't happen in America. We have the Constitution. We have protections. We're safe here. It's just not true. Unfortunately,
we have had a constitution that was really quite extraordinary, and unfortunately, the masses have been taught, the vast majority of people have been taught about the Constitution by those who are violating the Constitution, the government itself. And so you've got essentially sheeple, I don't know what else to call them, who have been taught by the government what the government can and cannot do, which leads us to our current situation that we're in today. And how bad is it? Well, there's an interesting article article, in addition to your great article on the statute of responsibilities, an interesting article about economic freedom. You know, in the time that Barack Obama has been president of the United States, let me give a little short narrative about this. In 2000, according to the Fraser Institute annual study on economic freedom, in the year 2000, the U.S. ranked number 2 in terms of economic freedom after Hong Kong, which has held that position probably for decades now. I keep becoming more and more interested in Hong Kong, by the way. And by the end of the Bush administration, had dropped several notches to around 7 or 8, which I think, you know, that says volumes. I'm not a partisan. I believe in liberty, and I'm opposed to either side promoting anything but liberty. Well, under Barack Obama, it went from 7 to 18. There's 17 more countries more free economically than the United States, Candace.
I know. I mean, you look at that. You look that we've dropped from number 1 to number 7 in competitiveness. You look that we've had 3 credit downgrades, all under Barack Obama. You just look at the condition of America under this president, and there's no way on God's green earth any living American with a working brain cell should cast a vote for this man.
Yeah, there's just absolutely no right way. And, you know, and you just sit there and you think, you know, what's so interesting is to watch him, Obama. He's so smug about it, you know, and he's walking around with this kind of this attitude of, you know what, I can't believe, I'm behind the worst unemployment since the Great Depression, the downgrading of our economy from a credit status, you know, as you pointed out, how many times? You know, 3 times, the worst regulatory environment. We're a laughingstock internationally when it comes to foreign policy as we kiss everybody's butt as they kick us in the teeth. And these morons, the American people, are going to vote for me again. He's sitting there looking at the same polling data. He's relishing our stupidity. And in my own opinion, I think he's thinking we'll get what we deserve with a second term.
Well, there are some people who deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You and I don't.
No, I would like to say that's true. You and I don't deserve that. I've been fighting this cause since I was 17 years old, and I'm 50 now, so I've been doing this for a long time. I was, a regional leader in the President Reagan's campaign, youth leader in the Reagan campaign. You know, so I've been doing this for a long time. But, you know, and I never agree with Bill Maher. But you know what Bill Maher said on Friday? That I agree with him entirely, although I wouldn't use the same explicitives that he used. But the so-called independent who's debating between Romney and Obama, those people are absolutely complete morons. How in the world do you debate? You know, you either know one view or you know another view, or you're voting for a homecoming queen or a class president. You're not voting for president of the United States. 30 seconds. Go ahead and wrap it up.
You know, and that's the thing. We're not voting for someone across the street. This is going to be the leader of the free world. Make your choice. It's Mitt Romney. Barack Obama has destroyed this nation. It's time to move on.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks, Candace Salima. You can learn more about her at CandaceSalima.com. We have a new article by her, The Statutes of Responsibility, at USDailyReview.com. It's one of the featured articles there today. Thanks so much, Candace.
Thanks, Kevin.
When we come back, we're going to have much more for you. Make sure you stay tuned to it right here on this station. Welcome back to The Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Of course, it's wonderful to be back in the saddle after being in San Francisco last week. Going back to San Francisco next week, it appears. We'll be knowing more tomorrow or so for another conference. This time it's Oracle's conference, and I'll be reporting from there as well. Really enjoy doing these events, but I always like to be back home because when I'm back home, I get to be in the studio and get to meet interesting people like my next guest, C.Kate Armstrong. She's with the Women's Business Enterprise Alliance and brought to us today by our friends over at, in my mind, I'm just Julie Irving at Keystone Resources.
Yes.
It's like a bad game show. My life is like a bad game show. But anyway, we brought to us by Julie Irving. I appreciate her bringing great guests like you, Kate. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Kevin.
And you are really new to Houston.
I am.
Like measured in weeks.
Measured in weeks, yes.
Yeah.
Still in the first 30 days.
First 30 days, yeah. It may be kind of like where you can annul it. You won't even have to, have a divorce. You can just annul it. But I don't know. I don't know how that works.
No, I'm staying. I like it. I like that everyone says y'all, and I like that everyone drinks sweet tea.
Yes, and they're very friendly here. It's incredibly friendly. In fact, it's one of the. I call Houston, Texas, the biggest small town in America. It really is. All right, tell us about the Women's Business and Enterprise Alliance and a big event you've got coming up.
Well, the Women's Business Enterprise Alliance, the WBEA, is a great organization here in Houston. We are one of 14 regional affiliates of WeBank, the national organization in D.C., the Women's Business Enterprise National Council. So we help women business owners get in business with large corporations. And we've got a great event coming up on October the 8th. We've got our 16th annual Golf Classic and Silent Auction. And you know, you've heard people say that golf is kind of the good old boys sport. Well, we're taking the boys out of golf, and we're bringing the corporations and the women business owners together on the golf course to do a little networking, to do a little business matchmaking, all while they pretend to play golf.
While they all pretend to. I don't know. The guys usually don't pretend. They're pretty crazy about that.
No, I think we have some hardcore golfers, actually.
Yeah, I think you're right. This is Texas, by the way. You'll find there's a lot of, even people like me get serious when I finally get on the court. Of course, it's still laughable. That's what makes it so laughable when you look at my game and I'm taking it seriously. It's like, really? Why would you do that? So, how long have you been involved with WBEA?
Well, all in all, I've worked for the WeBank organization for about 10 years. So, I've worked for the national organization and also the partner organization out of New Orleans. So it was very much like coming home to come back to the WBEA in Houston, one of the partner organizations. But there was obviously my first day on the job, there was so much to do to dive right into. And they said, hey, congratulations on your new job here at the WBEA. Take your time getting matriculated. Oh, and by the way, we've got a big golf tournament we're putting on in a couple weeks. And I said, okay. So, but our golf committee is amazing. We have large corporate sponsors such as ExxonMobil and Icon Information Consultants. And then we have some other sponsors such as ConocoPhillips and just tons of WBEs who have gotten involved. And I mean, we have a huge amount of players who have registered. And what's so interesting, and I think women-owned businesses will like this, is we set the WBEs, the Women's Business Enterprises, up with corporate representatives. We pair them up as a team to go out on the greens together. So it's a very strategic, we kind of play God as we're putting these groupings together.
Wow, that's kind of cool. I like that. I like that. It's kind of business matchmaking.
It is.
I love that. So is this your first opportunity to be a president of an organization for WBEA, or have you done this role in other cities?
I did this role in our New Orleans affiliate.
Oh,
yes.
Cool. Well, so you moved up to the big city now.
I know.
So, for those who aren't familiar with it, and everyone really should be, because I've been familiar with it now for years and years and have had many people involved with the organization on the program over the years, but people who aren't familiar with it, tell me what's the main reasons why people sign up for it to join?
Well, a woman business owner is going to pursue belonging to our organization so they can, in a sense, highlight their organization amidst all the other competitors that are out there trying to vie for maybe that one corporate contract. So a woman business owner will become a member of our organization, in a sense being certified as a WBE, a woman's business enterprise. And when they have that certification under their belt, it doesn't necessarily grant them that they are going to get the big contracts from corporations. It just gets them that kind of in the door. And then they can have that card to kind of play to say, hey, I am a certified woman-owned business. It's not my husband's company. It's not my brother's company. It's not my father's company. It is mine. I am the owner, operator, and controller of this business.
Well, and there's a lot of entities, and not just government entities, but business entities as well, that operate on a point system, in the granting of contracts. And there's several points for things like minority-owned or women-owned. Mm-hmm. It's tough to be a white male, by the way, in the 21st century. We're the only ones who can be made fun of in political jokes, too. I don't know if you noticed that as well. Anyway, oh, my goodness. So now I'm going to start getting weepy. But I think that's interesting. Especially if you do have a woman's business, by all means, that certification alone would exceed the value of membership, I would think.
We are, I think, still shocked at the number of members who do belong to our organization and don't really take advantage of all the benefits. I tell people, it's not just a gym membership. It can't be just in your wallet. You have to actively use it in order to see results. You kind of got to shout from the rooftops. You got to introduce yourself and say, "Hi, my name is Susie Q." And well, you shouldn't say Susie Q, but you should say, "Hi, my name is Susie Q. This is my business. Oh, and by the way, I'm a certified WBE through the national organization organization, WeBank. The WBEA here in Houston, we're just here as the professional, like you said, the professional matchmaking service. We're trying to connect these women business owners up with these large decision makers within corporations. And you're right, government entities too.
Yeah, no question about it. No question about it. And so you got heavy networking. Obviously, that's a huge part of it. You've got certifications so you can be recognized as a women's business, but also you do a lot of training as well.
We are very fortunate that we have the Houston Galveston's Women's Business Center under our umbrella of services, so we can really help women business owners within any stage of their growth. So from their business development to getting their business off the ground to financing to mentorship to succession planning, you name it. We kind of consider ourselves full service for women's businesses.
Yeah, I love it, and again, people need to become familiar with it. How long is the event that you have coming up? Is that going to be, what day is that? Rather, you said which date, but what day of the week is that?
October the 8th. It's a Monday. It's going to be the very beginning of the day, 7:30 to 6:30. Your registration will include all the yummy food, the goodie bag that's close to over $50 worth of value. Your chair massages. Did I say beverage cart? Beverage cart.
There you go.
Everyone wants to know that.
You got to have beverage cart if you're going to go off any time in Houston, because really we only have we measure fall and winter by hours, not by days or weeks. You know, so it's not quite that bad. But October is officially when I begin playing golf, and so people need to check that out. I don't play golf, from roughly May till October.
Okay.
Just because of the. Why would you? I mean, really, why would you? The only way you can play comfortably is if you get up at like 4 a.m, and I sleep at that time, you know, so that's just crazy. So, but I want to encourage people to get more information about it, and I'm sure there's a different cost based on whether or not you're a member, correct?
We just have a $175 registration fee, or we can do groups, teams, and we encourage people to make teams of 4, and we will get them out there on the greens.
All right. It's going to be at Wildcat Golf Club. By the way, we're going to have all the information, including the link for you to sign up at usdailyreview.com. It's going to be a sponsored link. Make sure you keep an eye out for it. It's there this morning. In fact, at usdailyreview.com. Check it out. And again, what's the website over there for your organization?
www.wbea-texas, all spelled out like the state, Texas.org. And the proceeds of this golf tournament do go to our WBEA Scholarship Fund.
There you go, WBEA-Texas.org. Make sure you check it out. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks to Journalie Irvin. She's over there at Keystone Resources for arranging this for us here on The Price of Business.
Oh, Susie Q.
Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. I tell you right now, SEO is one of the most important aspects of getting your business out there from a marketing perspective. It's more important now than ever, and it's also ironically more challenging now than ever, thanks to constant changes by the primary search engine that over 70% of the population uses, which is Google. I have got Chris Countey. He is an SEO expert over there at Webamax.com, who are regular contributors on The Price of Business. Chris, welcome to the program.
Hi, Kevin. Thanks for having me again.
You bet. All right. Tell us a little bit about why it is always challenging to stay current when it comes to search engine optimization. And why don't you just start off by explaining, even though everyone has heard it a lot, but what is search engine optimization? What does that mean?
Oh, search engine optimization, specifically for Google, is about ranking a specific page for a specific keyword or phrase that you put into the Google search engine. So what we do is we do everything we can to white hat way to improve the rankings of a specific web page.
Okay, very good. In other words, make it easier to be found.
You got it.
Okay.
Definitely more visibility.
So tell me about why is it so challenging to stay current in this area?
It changes so quickly. Really, we just had a couple updates over the past couple of months. We're thinking, roughly 50 updates every couple of weeks, and they don't tell us about all the updates. We have to assume that if something drastic changes, that we're likely to see an update. So you got to think that Google is it's a computer program essentially that talks to a database, and when you talk about search engines. It's just this giant database that has a bunch of web pages in it, and Google likes to change the way it presents those pages whenever they do one of these updates. So you may have done everything appropriate in the past couple of months, and then Google go ahead and change the game on you. And then you have to redevelop your strategy, and you have to be very agile when it comes to SEO because of these changes.
Yeah, interesting. So, tell me, it would seem to me that a lot of these smaller, really essentially cottage industry approaches to search engine optimization, they have an ongoing challenge to staying informed and current.
They do. One of the things that we recently started was hosting a local meetup here at the office. The Philly area has a really good SEO tech scene. So to help smaller business owners stay ahead, maybe they can't afford an SEO firm, or they just want to have all the control themselves. We host these meetups where we talk about these changes, where they come in and you'll have an expert stand up and give a presentation. They'll talk about what they can do on their sites now that won't be impacted by updates that may have just come out.
Interesting. Talking about Webamax, which is really one of the country's premier search engine optimization firms, ranked in the top 50 by Forbes as an up-and-coming company, and really, it's a pretty extraordinary story.
Oh, yeah, we have it all goes back to the team. Ken, I think one of his best, attributes is he knows who to put on the team and where to put them. We recently hired Bill Slawski. He's been doing SEO for a number of years, and you have myself. I learned with Bruce Clay. I've been doing it for a number of years, and you have a staff that's just, they're on top of it. Everybody communicates on a daily basis about what Google's doing, what we can do about it, and what can we provide to the client that is going to be sustainable, and how can we make it as cost-effective as possible.
So when they make a change, they being Google, do they usually tell you in advance, or do you find out about it in retrospect, or how does that all work?
No, the most common way we find out is Search Engine Land, or someone along those lines, like one of those SEO news websites will say, wow, it looks weird today. The SERP has changed a lot. There's something going on. And chances are a day later, or even that same day, the Google Webmaster Blog will release a post indicating what changes were made and what we should be looking for. Interesting.
And these aren't rare, really. They can happen a couple of times a year, can't they?
Oh yeah, they happen several times a year. You have some updates that just kind of happen behind the scenes. They aren't major. They aren't named, so to speak. And then you have these major updates where they give them a pet name. Such
like
as Penguin.
Panda and Penguin?
You got it.
Yeah.
These things get refreshed. So Google says, well, it was pretty effective, but I think we can make this better. I think we need to throttle it a little bit. And then they'll do a refresh. So you might have thought you were safe because you didn't get hit initially, and then it comes back, and then the second wave takes down your site.
Wow. And when you say take down, you mean it knocks it from page 1 to page 21 or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and so it's a constant struggle between man and machine.
It's a battle. We know that Google, it's artificial intelligence at its finest. They have I don't know how many PhDs over there crunching numbers and doing programming, but this machine is learning, so we need to keep up with it.
Chris, what are the primary objectives, do you think, behind Google when it changes the way search engine optimization is done?
Oh, the primary objective is to take away any ability to spam or game the search engine. Pre-Penguin, it was commonplace for companies overseas to automate a lot of these link building practices. And what you would have is an unnatural link profile that looked too good. It was too perfect for it to be just occurring naturally within the web. So this type of thing where if Google detects that someone has a hold or grasp of a piece of the algorithm and they begin gaming that, Google is going to respond pretty quickly and knock that out of the equation.
Yeah, no question about it. People need to get more information about it. How do you encourage people to do just that? About the kind of stuff that you have going on. By the way, we have an article there today, usdailyreview.com, on search engine optimization, some things you need to know. But if they need more information, what do you suggest they do?
Well, the thing they need to do now is they need to hire a firm. They need to hire a company that's on top of everything that's going on, and they need to think a little bit more about what they're doing off-site. So, we can create content, we can create links, but it really comes down to what is the company doing off-site that we can leverage, that we can talk about. So it's, imagine if Google weren't there tomorrow, and, where would your business stand? So it's basically taking all of your eggs and not putting them in one basket, but spreading them out through all the different, social media, press releases, doing stuff offline, doing stuff in the community, getting people to talk about you naturally and organically, and that's really the future of online marketing.
Yeah, again, talking about Webamax, one of the country's premier SEO and website development firms. Chris Countey is with me, and the website over there is Webamax, WEBIMAX.com. That, again, is Webamax.com. But today, if you go to usdailyreview.com, you can check out that article that they have regarding SEO, keeping you informed over there at usdailyreview.com. And, again, Chris, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Kevin. If I could just mention our new analyzer that just went up last week.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not familiar with SEO, you really want to see kind of where you're at, just go to webamax.com and look for the Analyze My Site button, and it's free.
Yeah, people need to do that. Analyze My Site, and that's at webamax.com. Thanks, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
When we come back, much more for you. Stay tuned to it right here on The Price of Business. Welcome back to The Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. I got Felicia Cravens here on for the final segment. Hard to believe. Time goes faster when you're having fun. Felicia, glad to have you on the program. So what are you thinking about here in the final weeks of the 2012 election?
I can't believe how fast the time is going by. I remember back in June, July, I thought we'll never get to Election Day. And now it's something like 45 days or something away.
Yes, unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Crazy.
Yeah, and of course the same people who have said that Romney doesn't have a prayer are really saying he doesn't have a prayer now. But it's just the same usual suspects.
It's funny the brawling that goes on back and forth between people on conservative sides, people on the liberal side, the supporters, detractors, whatever. It's hilarious. They've been trying to make hay over Romney saying that 47% of the people he's not speaking to in the campaign because they've already made up their mind. Somehow this horrible, the world is burning down thing. Meanwhile, real embassies are burning down. Real ambassadors are being murdered. And everybody's sort of meh in the news.
Yeah, and you got Barack Obama doing this, speech with a smirk on his face about how Ryan and Romney are new to foreign policy. Holy, it's like he's superior to them, like he knows something. He has destroyed America's international reputation in just 4 short years. I mean, he makes Jimmy Carter, who 13 countries fell to communism under Jimmy Carter. I mean, he is the biggest Jimmy Carter wannabe I've ever seen.
And the crazy thing is he uses phrases like having an ambassador killed is a bump in the road.
Yeah, I wonder how the ambassador's family looks at it.
Exactly. Well, and at the same time, did you see CNN completely disrespectful by using the ambassador, the ambassador, I think it was the Ambassador's Journal, and then releasing it to the family after they had mined it for all the information that they wanted and then used it as an unnamed source.
Unbelievable.
It's
Unbelievable.
Insane. I don't know where we're living anymore.
I say that all the time now. And, and it's not a ha-ha thing. I couldn't be more sincere in my angst about how crazy this country is becoming and more so every single day.
Well, and look at what the campaigns are doing. First of all, you have the Obama flag that looks like bloody claw prints dragged across, a column in an Libyan embassy or something like that. Have you seen that flag? It's disgusting.
Yeah, like some kid with markers.
And then, if that's not bad enough, there's the whole Hollywood thing right on your hands, what you're pledging for Obama for. Some of the celebrities had the most ridiculous things, gender equality for all, and something like our children. Debbie Wasserman Schultz wrote our children and things like this. So conservatives struck back, and we all took our own pictures with our own stuff written on our hands, and there I am in the middle of all that, clutching a flag with liberty on one hand and justice on the other. And talk about for all, those two things have been forgotten in all this.
Yeah, absolutely. People have been completely lost in the entire process, and the arrogance of officialdom. The only thing more arrogant is the problem with the media being totally into bed with them. I think the media just continuously projects an Obama that is so far from reality. He's reasonable, he's rational, he's realistic, he's brave, blah 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 blah. The guy's a complete disaster. He's incredibly sophomoric, and here we are, honestly entertaining 4 more years of him. I'm scared to death he's going to win.
I'm sure that there are plenty more things that people can be doing. And not only that, but think, too, the Senate has got to be a major battle as well. All these Senate races. There's the potential, if people really buckle down and make the Senate a national case as well and tie it really well to the Romney campaign, there's the potential to pick up 5, 6, 7 seats in the Senate if conservatives, if Republicans are working hard enough. It's just that it doesn't seem people are waking up from the summer yet. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of things going on in the media. There's massive crowds at every Romney or Ryan appearance, but you're not seeing it. Yeah. And so they need to be stepping up their game and publicizing things more. You're running not against, Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan are not running just against Barack Obama, but the media as well.
Yeah, they really are. Okay, you have recent articles out at a couple spots. I can't get you to write anything for U.S. Daily Review lately. You're just too dang busy. But
nobody can get me to write for them. But on OwnTheNarrative.com, I've got a piece on Andre Serrano because that's back. When you compare that, there's no Christian riots, though, going around with Andre Serrano's crucifix in a jar of urine.
Oh, my God, it's so disgusting. So if you go to USDailyReview.com today, you'll find the most recent article, one of the most recent articles by Felicia that is over at OwnTheNarrative.com. So make sure you check that out. Real quickly, I'm going to have Sigmund play this audio that I was referring to earlier in our conversation.
My running mate are new to foreign policy.
Yeah.
But from all that we've seen and heard, they want to take us back to an era of blustering and blundering that cost America so dearly. After all, you don't call Russia our #1 enemy, not Al-Qaeda, Russia, unless you're still stuck in a Cold War mind warp.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. You know what? And it's incredible. And I have to admit, Romney's a little off on that. And there's actually some potential there for, some foreign policy. Because let me just say, in Putin's defense, you got to agree with me. He has a very real world view of what's happening out there. All of this situation that they call Arab Spring is going to be an Arab nightmare for everyone. And Putin's done everything he could to put his brakes on it because he knows, as a dictator, that the dictators that are there are going to be replaced by dictators that are going to be harder to deal with.
Absolutely. I've got a friend that's been moving through Eastern Europe this week. The stories she's bringing back are incredible. I don't necessarily think that just the Arab situation, just the Muslim situation is going to be the only focus. Whoever's going to be president has got to have a global focus. China and Japan are at each other's
throats right
now.
That's exactly right. And everything about Obama's proven he can't even handle... He can't even show up for briefings. He shows up to 40% of his international briefings, and he sits there smugly about how he's superior to Romney. The entire world's going up in flames thanks to Barack Obama. Yet he sits there while Rome is burning. He's playing how his superiority. Forget about his fiddle, his superiority that doesn't exist. Felicia Cravens, find her over at USDailyReview.com. That's USDailyReview.com. They're going to pull the plug on us. Thanks, Felicia.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be here tomorrow. I hope you're here, too, for another Price of Business.